Hey y'all, I wanted to come on real quick to see if you're up for a little challenge. So when I was a kid, I used to come up with this game called the compliment game. Basically, me and all my cousins, we'd sit in a circle and we'd give each other compliments. Even then, as a little kid, I had the love of God in me. Like I knew we were all insecure in some way, and I wanted to take action to figure out a way to boost each other up and lift each other up at a young age. I mean, like 10, 12. Um, but yeah, so with that, I feel like that's something we need as adults. I feel like sometimes when you get to a certain age, you lose the childlike essence of yourself. And I'm a big believer in you don't have to lose that aspect of yourself. There's no grow up and be this or be that now. Like you're immature, you're childish. It's time to start adulting. Can we start childing? Like, can we start kidding? I don't want to be an adult if adult means miserable, mundane, 9 to 5. That's all your life has. Boring, boring, boring. No. So, but I say all that to say I have two challenges. The first challenge is the compliment challenge. So, go through life, give someone a compliment today, tomorrow, whatever. Try to give as many compliments as you feel you can. Simple things, but not no on no fake force type stuff. Um, just find something nice to say about somebody. Oh, girl, I like them pants you got on today. They really, they look cool. Or, oh man, I love them glasses. Like, hey, bro, you looking sharp, man. That's what's up. Like, especially for the men, because I feel like sometimes there's a stigma or a double standard where men can't be certain ways are vulnerable in certain ways because of this homophobic society we live in. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, um my black people, go out there and give some people some compliments and spread that love, and that love will come back to you. Don't just do it because you want the love to come back, but just do it. Like it feels good. It feels good to see their reaction. Honestly, their energy is instantaneous. When I tell somebody something, and I know that they haven't heard anything good in a while, you can see it. And I tell them something that I truly genuine. I love giving compliments. If I see it, I'm like, "Oh, girl, I like your hair." Just the other day, I was at IKEA with my cousins, and a girl was like, "Oh, girl, I like your little outfit." I had like this little romper thing on, and it made me feel good. I was kind of in my head at that moment, and God put something on that person's heart to tell me something at the right moment, at the right time. It got me out of my head, and then guess what? I repaid it right back. That's reciprocity. I said, "Oh, and I like your hair." And she swung her little hair around, and it was a good moment. That smile stayed on my face for a good 5 seconds after that moment. And these things, we need that positive light. Like I said, it's okay to relate and lean on each other through the pain, but also let's start learning how to relate through positivity too. But yeah, and the next challenge I want you guys to do is something that I did at the beginning of my self-love journey. As black people, I feel like we with colorism and texturism and racism, we a lot of times learn to hate the shell that we have chosen to be in, that God has put us in. And you have to get back to who you are, but first one of the first things you have to transcend and get past is how you look on the outside, because that is the hardest thing to get by, since you can't hide that in a sense, if that makes sense. So I started taking all my makeup off. Well, I never really wore makeup unless it was a special occasion, but I stopped doing the most. Like, I don't want to say the most, but I stopped doing anything that I feel like would tame me. I wanted to kind of look as rough as possible, but presentable in a sense that I'm just like not bumming myself out. But I just let my natural hair flow. I would just kind of do a twist out and just leave it out. Um, no makeup, no eyebrows like drawn in or filled in, no gloss unless I had like chapstick or something. Put my lotion on my face, whatever. But bare minimum, no extra doing like extra fancy clothes, just kind of bare minimum, because I wanted to fall in love with myself again. This vessel that I'm in, that I chose to be in, that God put me in, is beautiful. The flaws and all, like my partner says, you have to accept the imperfections, and that there is perfection in imperfection. And so on my journey, I like to put things out there on my IG page. I posted like a few pictures and like posts that kind of I I felt that vulnerability gave me a sense of pride and strength and bravery. And it made me feel good about myself that no matter what, how my body looks or is, I still know my soul behind it. I'm a good spirit. I have a good heart, and these things don't define me. I built strength within myself. I know that I'm more than just this face, this body, this belly, this stretch marks, this C-section scar, this lazy eye that prevents me from making eye contact sometimes. Those all these insecurities, physical insecurities that are stopping me from going within. That's the first roadblock you have to get past to even start tackling that inner work. I mean, you can start tackling inner work, but what I'm saying is, if you get past that, it's going to be so much easier to get within, because all of the programming and conditioning that's just around your physical appearance, gender, race, hair color, hair texture, skin color, all these things, weight, age, all of these labels that we put on ourselves physically in the society. Once you get past those things, you start to see the beauty within you, despite anything, and you start to conquer that insecurity. Once you start conquering that insecurity, self confidence starts to rise, and your esteem starts to rise, and your worth starts to rise. But that's also part of the compliment challenge. They go hand in hand, because you see, when you give people compliments and that compliment comes back, that's also validating, affirming, and confirming something you already know within yourself. So you're no longer needing the validation, but you accept it. How many of you have it hard out here to even accept a compliment? For so long, and this is part of my family too. We've been conditioned to feel like, especially as women, that to be modest, to not be perceived as, bougie, or oh, she just thinks she all that. We take compliments with, while giving ourselves an insult. Somebody say, "Oh, girl, your hair is so cute." Girl, this stuff is so, oh, it get on my nerves. Instead of saying, "Thank you, I put some time into it today," or I'm trying this new conditioner. Practice accepting the compliment. You don't have to be, quote unquote, fake modest to the point where you become insecure within yourself. It's okay to be confident. I always say cocky is in the eye of the beholder. Conceited is a person who has to put somebody else down to bring yourself up. Just because you gassing yourself up and you giving yourself compliments does not mean you're cocky. A person who is perceiving you as cocky is projecting their insecurities within themselves. You being so confident in yourself is highlighting and illuminating the way that they feel about themselves. That envy, that energy of envy, don't allow that to make you dim your light. For so long, I used to feel like, man, I can't wear this around this friend, or I can't act this way around this friend, or I can't dance like this around this friend, or I can't do this around this friend, because I've been known as the humble friend, or the friend that was homely, or not so cute, or whatever. So, or I may have had a friend who I feel like was more insecure than me, so I had to dim my light or humble myself, to the point of acting almost self abusing, that to make them feel better. That's not a healthy relationship. So yeah, guys, I just want to kind of put you guys on that challenge. So sorry, I got a little, my preacher voice be getting on when I get in my little passionate about something. I start getting preachery, but yeah, I just want to kind of put those things out. So give some compliments, accept some compliments, and try to do a little natural challenge. Even if it's just like one day out of the week, or on this day I'm gonna no makeup. But all right, guys, as always, someone who cares, the spiritual activist. Keep God first. I love you guys. Peace out. Hey guys, so I want to top off my video that I did a little while back about self-confidence. I'm sorry, about the challenge accepted, which is about accepting and giving compliments. But I want to add on to that. I'm going to be doing 2 more videos, one about building self-confidence and one about self-love. So let's start with building self-confidence. As a Black people, we are, okay, now be prepared for what I'm about to say. Don't take it wrong, because I'm talking about myself too. We are an ignorant people. And ignorant doesn't mean dumb or stupid. Ignorant means we just don't know. And guess what? We never knew. We have never been taught.
which makes us feel even more insecure, and we're willing to take whatever is thrown at us without questioning because we have been doing it for so long to survive. Like the roach, honestly, becoming scavengers of the earth with so many superficial material or physical attachments because we didn't get the opportunity to create deeper human connections, which is why it is so deeply rooted and hard to cultivate in our relationships now as parents, bonding with our children in a relationship, actually embracing love and accepting it within our family constructs, everything. However, there is never any relation in healing to our plight, to our story. In any healing that people try to do, they never reference it back to us. It's always the other people's struggles, the minute, the little struggles that other people have on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, well, what do you think we go through when we've had to endure it for over 500 years? That's why I say we all we got. We are so oblivious to how damaged and dysfunctional a lot of our culture is, but we have to know there is so much great about it as well. And that's the balance. We have to ground and relish in that to not lose it, like lose ourselves in grief or heartache. We can only heal so much, and then we need to go back and center and ground and know that we are not perfect and we have had to endure a lot. And so honestly, we have a get out of jail free card. But we are extremely disconnected from our heart centers. We have what is known as a heart wall. I forget who came up with this concept, but imagine your heart behind a brick wall, and each brick has something that's a roadblock to it, like fear, despair, stress, abandonment, grief, whatever. All these things are blocking your heart, and we do that to protect our heart, but we don't realize that wall is not only stopping love or stopping it from getting broken, quote unquote, but it's also stopping you from feeling actual genuine love. So you can't give or receive it. And it's the healing, the heart center is the epicenter of healing. That is the highest frequency is love. And to me, that's where God's love is, in my opinion. That's where the love is. That's where, the true essence of you is. But we have such a huge heart wall that we can't even access it due to the many roadblocks in the mind and unconscious body. My theory is Black people didn't come here to be distracted by math, spelling bees, but we have deeper spiritual purposes. Not saying that math and spelling is unimportant, but our purpose, one that makes us maybe weak and boring in extra school curriculum, but it's because that's not our main purpose. And we don't need a society that was never designed to uplift us to continue to tell us what we are efficient and poor at. But this need to want and feel special sets us up for so many spiritual traps, joining every bandwagon and clicking on every video about superpowers, psychic abilities, and abundance and money, but never the ones about rooted self-hate, post-traumatic slave syndrome, and vacant esteem and self-love. We have to get our priorities straight and stop seeking bandage, quick fix solutions and get to the root of the actual repetitive cycles. A suppressant, like a pill, pill for every ill, is only temporary. We are products of this impatient go medicating Western society that never seeks truth, the roots, or holistic viewpoints. That is a huge setback and needs to change now. More pointers. Post-traumatic slave syndrome and society's depictions of us in the media, movies, all these other things affects how we view and feel about ourselves. The trauma we endured on a day-to-day basis, our ancestors endured, and that we still continue to endure, was detrimental to our psyches and esteem, and it still affects us to this day. That's why vacant esteem is part of that post-traumatic slave syndrome. The Massa mentality, this fueled that Massa mentality ego, which fueled us with self-hate and destructive self-image. This affects our ability to see the good within, not even able to accept a freaking compliment. See the challenge accepted and let no one define you segments. Look at the root history playing the dozens. This is a game, and I'll try to link the YouTube video where the girl talks about this. But it's a game that we play. Basically, modern day, it's like ranking on each other. If you watch Wild and Out, it's a good depiction of it. But yeah, we did that to build mental strength, because it's like you being beat on all day verbally by your master. So if we can do it to ourselves, then we're preparing ourselves and getting how do I say, like, accustomed to the whippings of the words. And so, but in turn, that had like a negative effect, because the things you're pointing out about these people, you see yourself within them. So it makes you start to internalize those things, those words you're spewing out. You know what I mean? So it's a bittersweet tactic, because you're building mental strength, but in turn, it's that inner turmoil, that monster mentality with the true essence of who you really are. But these are these survival tactics and coping mechanisms that we created to make it through a situation where we couldn't exert the energy and the frustration and the angers that we had, out into our oppressor. Um, Everybody has a purpose and strength to find your, and everybody has a purpose and a strength. You need to find yours and ground in that power. Society's ego conditioning to judge and make people feel dumb has created a lot of insecurities and defenses of what I call the know-it-all syndrome, which is a huge roadblock and defense mechanism to humbling your pride long enough to learn something with significance and substance. I always say, if you think you know everything, you'll never know anything. For instance, a brain surgeon may be a genius, but yeah, so a brain surgeon may be a genius in brain surgery, but when it comes to fixing his car, if he felt his intelligence in that field of brain surgery or specialty made him capable of fixing his car, then he would mess something up. And on the other end, if a person with street smarts gauges their worth or inner wisdom on being able to write a doctoral paper, then they would be setting their self-esteem up for failure. You see? Also, it takes bravery to be a human and express yourself authentically and be vulnerable, showing your imperfections and the fact that you are not God, but are still perfect in his or her eyes. It just goes with the fact that you are stepping into your power. You're being authentic. You're trying something new. You're showing your human expressions. You're now no longer repressing your bodily functions, your mental functions, your spiritual functions, your emotional reactions. You're being yourself, and that takes a bravery, and that's, you should ground in that, and that's a power in itself. That takes bravery. It takes bravery to show vulnerability. Like, people don't realize how much strength it takes to just be yourself and be authentic, to honor your feelings and honor your inner world. One of the biggest solutions is do monster mentality ego work. You have to detach from that inner voice that keeps you in this turmoil of being your true self, that keeps you in this light of darkness. It's like that has this cast of darkness over who you are as a person, constantly fueling the inner critic, with this false sense of self. It just fills you with so much despair and self-hate. Still stuck in this vacant esteem, desperate for validation, worth, and respect within the world, seeking it from outside people who are just as blind as us. And I'm referring to mostly, white society, or the Eurocentric standard of beauty and success. They will never let you in their club. Their minds won't let them at this moment. They got to do the work too to free their souls from a life of hate and unconscious racism, no matter how bad they try to ignore or deny it or psych themselves out of it. We walk around always having to prove ourselves. That's why we have to know our worth and know that we are just as worthy as anyone else, and we don't have to walk around all day trying to prove it to our monster mentalities. It will never be satisfied. That's why you have to let it die so you can live your life free, not to the colonizer standards, not to Eurocentric standards, not to American society standards, but to your own standards. Rebuild and redefine your sense of self. You have a blank canvas with paints passed down from your ancestors of royalty and of resilience. Either way, you have the potential to make a masterpiece in your hands. Start manifesting the picture now. It is time. The moral of the story: people are always walking around trying to make black people feel dumb and inferior for being ignorant. And a lot of times it's us too, because we're walking around as henchmen with this monster mentality. When Ignorant is a get out of jail free card. It's your excuse. Nigga, I don't know. I never knew. My mom never knew. My daddy never knew. Stop effing with my psyche and self-esteem to keep me stuck in feelings of defeat and hopelessness. When you know my power is within me, that's why of all people, we have been so suppressed from any knowledge about our God-given strength. You think God put anything on our bodies that was meant to be cut off, changed, altered, bleached? God makes no mistakes. But how can I get that through your head? God makes no mistakes. We are a chosen people, born woke but oppressed by the monster mentality henchmen. There is a spiritual war going on. The war has been going on. And the more we stop deflecting and pretending and believing all the manipulative ploys to make us feel like it's all in our heads and we're playing the race card, then we'll see how disconnected the world is making us from God and or spirit, you know? But I just wanted to hopefully help you understand that to build self-confidence, you have to build that within yourself. And that goes to my next video, which is self-love, which I call the most deeply rooted deficiency within the Black spirit. But yeah, have confidence, guys. Nobody knows anything. Everything suggests that we all out here trying to learn and do the best we can. So you have to know what you know and be willing to humble yourself enough to learn more. Be confident in who you are and know that you're a work in progress and it's a journey, not the destination. Love you guys. All right, so as promised, I'm going to do the video on self-love, the deepest rooted in deficiency. Why is self-love so hard for the Black community? A journey to break the mental enslavement around the idea that we are not worthy of love because we are thinking with the colonizer's mind, the monster mentality. In order to learn how to love, you have to acknowledge and integrate the shadow of the racist self. You hate me because I remind you of you. And in America culture's eyes, historically and presently, you're no good. Here's a mantra. A mantra is a word or phrase that kind of helps you ground in a positive energy. My mantra that I say is, self-love is the gateway to my happiness. My faith in God's love sustains me and is my peace of mind. Self-love is the gateway to my happiness. My faith in God's love sustains me and is my peace of mind. So, that's something that I like to say to myself. That's what grounds me and that's what keeps me at peace when, the world's going to shit. To me, the first step to any aspect of self-improvement is self-love. It is the root of every ailment and problem known to man and spirit, if you ask me. All the depression, social anxiety, stress, people-pleasing, shadowing self, indecency, pain, sickness, neglect, judgment, guilt, shame, and the list never ends. It's all rooted in how you love yourself. Because when you truly love at all aspects of yourself, you don't neglect them and you don't neglect is all encompassing. So you give a certain level of self-care. And that's why I'm truly with, the hood healer. She was the first person I ever heard of the term like radical self-care. I'm really into it. And I get a lot of people saying, and not the bubble baths and face masks that everyone's doing now. I don't know why people are downplaying that. For Black people, we a lot of us don't even know what self-care and self-love is. And 2020 kind of introduced that to us. And I'm not too proud to admit that I really never practiced any self-care. And so to me, a bubble bath is not mundane to me. It's something that's actually fulfilling to my spirit, and my spirit loves it. So don't let people out here downgrade what you consider to be self-care and self-love for yourself. So I just want to put that out there. Know your worth. Black folks are quick learners and resilient because we have a lot to prove. But don't let anyone who is unaware of this psyche adaptation manipulate your ego to make you feel unworthy or not good enough. Know what kind of worker and person you are so no one can shake your foundation of self-love. Like, for instance, me. I know I'm a sweet soul. I know I don't have to prove myself anymore. I've bent over backwards for friends and this and that, trying to prove this and prove that. And it's because your ego is never satisfied. Your ego has such this poor self-image and is making a scene that is seeking that a validation for people. And people who can't love themselves cannot love you. People who cannot see themselves in this positive light with confidence, they can't give you that. So stop seeking it from other people. Don't get wrapped up in analyzing what you do, the things you do. Just focus on, do you want to continue to be this way? And if not, focus on solution-based options. The roots isn't about the judgmental. It's about identifying the problem. Ground in not relying on other people to make you feel good about yourself or being able to affect your sense of self just because they don't understand you. But accountability is something else. Roots. Our ancestors' pain runs through our veins. The pain is ours until we release it. We don't have to carry the burden of being beaten down in our psyches, being told we were unworthy, nothing but property, hearing it from our wounded parents, family, communities, societies, seeing it on TV until we are on the brink of a mental breakdown. Then being kicked while we're down and this never-ending negative experience, we feel getting fired, dumped, neglected by friends, all because we have been so dependent on others and outside sources to fill up our cup when we have to learn how to do that for ourselves. And I always say, you can't share from an empty cup. You have to fill yours up in order to help others. So that's part of that self-love and self-care. How do we cultivate it? What are the solutions that feed our heart and soul? What makes you happy, joyful, blissful, peaceful, having fun, eating good, working out, cooking, crying it out every now and then, getting your hair done, doing things that are good for your health, body, mind, keeping your spirits up. Know you are beautiful. You are enough. You belong. You are worthy, no matter how ignorant the world around you may be. God knows your heart and made no mistakes creating you. You have to reparent the trauma brain. Have discipline. Have some self-care. Have some emotional regulation. Have some joy. This, was a video from the holistic psychologist. Open your heart. You're allowed to feel good about yourself. Who cares if your confidence and self-acceptance offends them? Ignore their comments. Don't let it sink into your psyche. Establish self-love limits if need be, which are, my reframing of the word boundaries. Keep shining your light. They need it. If they are the ones in the darkness, not you. That negativity is a reflection of their own pain, not yours. And you don't have to internalize it just to feel like you care. Caring is not about coming down to another person's level or matching the energies that bring you down. It's about continuing to shine your light and staying in that confidence and staying in that, just that confidence and shining that light. Hopefully they'll see you as a motivation or inspiration and not something that they should envy. But if they do, that is not your problem. Not to sound like a jerk, but it's true. You can only do so much, and you can't live your life trying to micromanage and regulate everyone else's emotions. This is why I do what I do on this podcast, because this is my way of giving advice. This is my way of uplifting my community. I don't have to go to every specific person and sit with them for days and years and helping them go through it. This is it. I'm giving you the tools and the thing to jog your own consciousness so that you can sink it in within your soul and see what resonates with your heart and all that, so that you can cater and twist it and personalize it to your own needs. But yes, like I said, self-love, guys. We can no longer allow the stories that we've heard about slavery, about this, and the media depictions and all of this stuff continue to bring us down. We are a beautiful people. We have been through everything, and yet we still rise. If that can't give you self-love and self-worth and esteem, I don't know what will. Keep pushing, guys. We're gonna be all right. Hey, a quick voice memo. For one, something about subconscious. I realized my short-term memory is bad because my long-term memory is so good. I have a very sensitive subconscious. Movies, if I watch it, it starts to get in my head. It's in my, I can tell it's in my subconscious because I start overthinking things okay, say I watch this movie and the woman has PTSD and she's driving reckless and doing all these unhealthy kind of coping skills like that is helping her through it. So my overthinking anxious behind will start to feel like, oh, I'm driving too fast. Do I have PTSD? It said like hypochondriac, like that, wanting to diagnose yourself type energy. And I'm like, just be mindful of what you consume, because even when you think you're being strong, for people who have very overactive minds and very like sensitive subconscious, I call it, like, be very mindful, because you can be consuming stuff and it's creating your realities, because you don't even realize how subconsciously like you're putting this information into your life. But then on another topic, hey, stop letting people define you in all aspects. Stop letting people define what who you are, what you are, your mental state, your emotional state. Because what I'm realizing is there's a lot of people putting out their personal insecurities and their personal revelations and reflections, and it's impacting other people because they're questioning their whole lives based on someone else's experience. There really is no fact. Even when it comes to psychology, like, I may get a lot of flack for this, but I don't care, because it's like nobody knows but God. So yes, you can make these theories, you can make these opinions, but I feel like everything is suggestive. Unless you're saying, hey, the clouds are outside, it's cloudy outside, and I can see that, you can see that, 1,000 people can see that. That's a fact. Okay. But when you start making like theories of saying, being a people pleaser, that was bad. That's your opinion. That's what you feel like your life portrayed to you. But what I'm noticing is, like, you go along with this mindset and start thinking, okay, I was a people pleaser, let me stop being a people pleaser, I ain't no longer doing this for nobody and for everybody, I'm finna be selfish. Just remember, the energy you put out is the energy you're gonna get back. So you start putting all this selfish energy out and start feeling like, oh, I'm not gonna be a people pleaser. Negro, everybody around you people pleaser, so it's balancing out, like, and just having faith that God is not going to allow you to, like, not allow you, but like God is giving you blessings because of your heart. It's not, they've labeled it as people pleasing, but maybe you're just a caring person, and it's like, I'm overthinking crap that I want to be like, because I'm allowing this label of being a people pleaser to define me. And it's like, say for example, someone called me and I missed their call. Me, I like to explain myself. I like to, be what I feel is considerate, and just say like, oh, hey girl, I answer your call, my morning got busy, yada, yada, yada. But if I let this label of being a people pleaser, oh, well, I don't got to explain myself, I don't have to tell them nothing, yada. Like, do you see like how that energy, how that has changed my attitude from being this, what I feel like is sweet, or people telling you being nice is fake? Yeah, it's fake if you really feel like that's not you. But if it's really you, then it's like, be that way. Don't let people feel like, don't let other people's revelations define you. Like, we're in a very, how can I say, fluid time. It's like, because everybody is awakening to things that are happening in their life. And I'm gonna do another video about what I think about awakening and this whole spirituality movement and monetizing and trending, whatever. But that's a whole nother video. But everybody is kind of reflecting and quote unquote healing, whatever that means. So you're going to get a lot of theories, a lot of opinions. Even what I'm saying is a theory and opinion. But the thing about me is, I'm always making a disclaimer that this is my perspective, and that's what life is about. It's about the fact that perspective is the real power. Perception is the real power. That's basically all life is a bunch of people's perspectives, perceptions, beliefs, theories, opinions, personal truths. It's not fact. So you basically can choose what you want to believe in your reality, but just choose things that empower you, choose things that center you with love, not hate. Not, that's part of the agenda. Don't fall for that trap. Don't let stuff harden your heart. Don't let things turn you into this cold-hearted, selfish bitch. Because that's the energy you're going to get. You're going to start going around being self-centered and thinking that you've been doing so much for everybody else, not even seeing that you've been getting blessings. Your family around you has been doing for you too, and you thinking you're doing so much. Get out of that narcissistic, selfish, I don't even like to label it narcissistic, but just get out of that selfish mentality of like, the world is like, it's revolving around you. It's not revolving around you. In a sense it is, but not really. Like, stop looking at how everything is happening to you and realize like some things are happening for you and some things like you're getting benefit from it. Don't just see everything from your perspective. See like what other people are doing for you too. Or try not to just see it from like a dense lens. Try to see the positive in life and try to see all the good things that people are doing for you. Like, to me, that's the true healing. Like, being able to me, transmutation is being able to see life from a different perspective. Being able to like reframe it to a more selfless perspective, to a more like, okay, maybe, I understand maybe my parents didn't do everything that I felt like they needed, that I needed. But we're really out here doing the best we can. And as a parent, I was able to see that much more clearly. And it's like, out of everything I'm doing that I feel like may have been like an improvement on my childhood or whatever, my son can still wake up and still be like, Mom, I'm traumatized. You didn't do enough, Mom. Oh my God, Mom. My friend's mom did this. I mean, so if I'm, and that can stress me out and make me be this overcompensating person, but it's like, I know in my heart I'm doing the best I can. I know I want the best for my son. So it's like, it's just about shifting that perspective. Yeah, your parents may not have done everything you wanted. But when you really look back, like as I started healing, I started seeing more and more what my parents did for me. And like I started seeing them for human beings who may have had wounds of their own, who may have had trauma of their own, who are, I'm gonna keep it real, who are black people in America who are doing the best they can despite all of the, obstacles and things that we may face. Not an excuse, not a victim mentality type thing. Like, I know that you can make a way sometimes, but it's like, it is hard when you feel that, prejudice and those roadblocks that come to us. But what I want us to start doing, which I will make another video specifically, is turning our pain into power, and how the way we've been doing things, yeah, they may not be 100% perfect. Yeah, there may be dysfunctions in our families and what we consider love and what we do. But ultimately, I know for my family, there's unconditional love there. Yes, there's dysfunctions or whatever, but I'm not going to allow somebody to tell me your relationship is codependent. Your relationship has trauma bond. Trauma bond needs nuts. Like, codependent, kiss my ass. Like, like seriously, like, it's just like, stop allowing people to define you. My family is literally what got me out of a psychotic break, which is kind of like ultimately what I feel like spiritual awakening is. It's like when you really about to really, like, it's like the straw that broke the camel back. Because if you think about what usually triggers it, it's some life-altering event. You may not think it is, but it's like you was really one snap away from losing your shit. And so this awakening is kind of like, it could be a midlife crisis. It could be a extreme, like a divorce after years. It could be losing a job after years. It could be something dramatic that makes you call your whole life into question. They've just labeled it as a spiritual awakening because it's like, that's just what they labeled. I don't got time to go all into that. But it's like, if you look at it from your spirit, which is like kind of like your motivation and drive, as from the black perspective, if you look at the fact that our spirit has been oppressed for a very long time based on, systematic, institutionalized racism, then it's like, it's kind of like you get this thing that breaks the camel back. It's like, after all of that, this is just the limit that your spirit has. And it's like, now it's like something has triggered it to like, no, we finna step up. We finna fight. Like, your spirit and your or soul, or if you believe in that or not, whatever, you can just say something is happening within you, that inner turmoil. is happening, where it's like, no, we finna fight back this mind, these mental constructs, these illusions, this ego that has been fueling you with, negative ideas of who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's our time to fight back. But all in all, just like the ultimate message of this video, or whatever, audio, is that stop letting people define you. Take everything with a grain of salt. Everything in this world is suggestive. All advice is suggestive. All things you watch is suggestive. All things you listen to is suggestive. Everything you consume is getting in your subconscious. So be mindful. And you don't need you don't need to follow all these people. You don't need to get all these collective readings. That's on a whole nother story on my spiritual manipulation video that I will be doing soon. But ultimately, you know your life. Center in, how does your life make you feel? Center in, yeah, my relationship has its issues. So does everybody's. I don't care what these people are showing you, what you see. The social media world is effing people up because it's giving them only that tunnel vision perspective, that tunnel vision point of view. You're not seeing none of the crap that's happening around it. You're only seeing that flashlight shine on this one spot of the room, not realizing the whole room is trashy, messy. You see this couple looking so, lovely, holding hands, not knowing they just finished arguing, which is nothing wrong. But that's the thing. No one wants to show these aspects of themselves because we want to keep this persona, this mask of this false reality that's constantly fueling the ego, which is a false sense of self. So it's like, be mindful of that when you're looking and seeking, advice and seeking refuge and seeking healing. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody even really teaching out here. Heal, do your shadow work, transmute, transcend. I don't want to hear another transmute, transcend. I'm tired of this spiritual movement because it's selling wolf tickets, full of shit. Like, it's so irritating to me now because it's like you're feeding fantasies instead of reality. Like, you're not allowing people you're not really giving them the tools that they need to really solve anything. I'm all about solutions. I'm all about concrete things. Like, what we need is honest communication, honest confessions, honest conversations. Not just talking at each other, but really putting our pride, our ego, our personalities aside and just seeing the person for a person. And this goes for women, men, mothers, children. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone needs to put their pride aside and be able to listen to somebody. Actually practice listening. Active listening. Not listening to talk. But like I said, don't let anyone define you. You have the power to define yourself. And keeping God first. That faith, build on that. But my videos be getting all over the place. So like I said, I have additional videos that I feel like I'll try to get into more specifically. The spiritual manipulation video, turning the pain into power. And I forgot what else I said because I really just be freestyling these as I think about it. I took a hiatus for a second because I was going through my own, mental issues, and I had to take a break. And I'm dismantling the shame and guilt around going through stuff mentally, because that is what I feel honestly is what's going to be the true healing. When people no longer are feeling ashamed because their mind is racing and they're overthinking and they're having so much anxiety and they're having feelings of depression, taking that shame and guilt away and being more open and venting and sharing that pain is the true essence of how we're going to heal. That community energy is how we've always healed and is how we're going to continue to heal. Don't let somebody come here and tell you what you got to do when this has been working for us for centuries. Black people, don't stop doing what we've been doing to survive all the oppression, all the things we've been doing. Don't switch it up too much. Okay, you want to throw some crystals in that? Fine, start wearing some crystals, but you ain't got to. God is ultimately the source. So all this extra stuff is just stuff that make you feel like you doing better or whatever. It's like, shoot, I bought some crystals. I don't even know if them suckers real. They look like they painted on them or added the stuff on there. So it's like, you really don't know. You don't got to walk around being too much of a skeptic, but I'm just saying, don't start seeking outside of your faith. Because honestly, that's really in essence what everything is. You buying this crystal, having faith that it's going to give you something that extra that you need. So build on that. That root chakra, if we want to go into spirituality, let's get to the basics. If we want to go, that root is the stability of your foundation of you. Focus on that first. Don't jump up to the crown and get back into the head like this society has been very mind-centered. Get into your heart and get into your root and focus on stabilizing with family, close friends, yourself, establishing a strong sense of who you are. You know who you are. People are monetizing this find yourself. They're preying on people's vulnerabilities because you're going through this midlife crisis and everybody want to find their purpose, find themselves. We know who we are. We don't need to find ourselves. It's not about finding ourselves. It's about finding the courage to display ourselves. Finding the courage to release the fear around when we become ourselves, we're going to be rejected. When we become ourselves, we're going to be abandoned. Okay, you may be abandoned by some people, but the ones who really, really rock with you and really, really, truly love you and unconditionally support you and accept you for who you are, they might say their little stuff behind your back, but low-key, they admiring you. Yeah, black folks, we got our dysfunctions. Yeah, we gossip and we say little stuff. That's how we relate. Oh, well. That's how we open up that's how we relate to each other. That's how we connect through our pain. You can call it trauma bound all you want, but that's how we've been doing it for so long. And it's about shifting. Yes. Open up with that, connect with that. But then it's like, now let's talk about some positive stuff too. What God has, put on my heart is that it's all about balance. Balance in everything. Yeah, you can talk about the stuff we're going through, girl. Oh man, as us mothers, we can talk about being mothers. As fathers, talk about being, when you get around your friends and your girlfriends, and you have your conversations. Dudes, when you get around your partners, y'all talk and vent. It's like, yeah, you can talk and vent, but now let's talk about some positive stuff too. Balance. It's just about balancing. It's not about uprooting your whole life and letting somebody make you feel like everything you've been doing in life is wrong. Are you still here? Are you surviving? Are you resilient? Have you turned your pain into power? Yes, we've been doing it. We're just not acknowledging it because this world keeps making us feel like everything we're doing is wrong. No, baby, we're doing right because we still are strong. We still are here. Don't let nobody, these new therapists, these psychologists get in your head and your psyche and tell you what you're doing is wrong. Yes, some things can change. Some things can be modified. But don't throw away it's like just throw the whole culture away. It's not about throwing the whole culture away. This cancel culture, no. It's just about making little tweaks here and there to, optimize and make the best of what we got, which is what we've been doing. This is a very, very weird time in the world right now. People are doing a lot of, they're leading people the wrong way. They're leading people and getting them sucked into realities and virtual realities and evil crap and demonic, all kind of stuff. Be mindful what you start adapting into your life because you don't know what kind of Pandora's box you opening. Stick to what you know. Stick to the foundation. Stick to the basics. Gradually dip your foot into stuff. Don't go full-fledged because you thinking your whole life needs to change because you so effed up and your life so effed up and your family so effed up and the black culture, everything is effed up. No. Don't fall for the trap. Black families, black culture, black people are under attack psychologically. And you need to be aware and mindful of those things if you're going through awakening and if you're not, if you're just living life. But if you're going through stuff, don't think you messed up because you're going through stuff. Let me tell you something. Everybody going through stuff. People just don't talk about it because they fear judgment. But the way we're going to heal is by talking about it. That's how you break the ice. This is something black people have been doing for the longest, and this is why we're so strong, because we build that comfort amongst ourselves by knowing that we're not struggling and going through stuff alone. And you start to dismantle that monster mentality that I've coined, is because you're no longer competing and comparing your life to someone else's, because you know that their life has issues too. We all have issues. There's no need to compete and compare. And you're not fake because you don't let the world know all your issues and your problems. You're not fake because you have certain friends for this and certain friends for that. You're not fake because you talk this way with these people and talk this way with that person. You're not fake because you're multifaceted. One minute you want to be whatever they labeled hood. One minute you've been labeled, you want to be whatever they've labeled rocker. You want to be whatever they've labeled this or that. No, you're just multifaceted, and all these are aspects of you. That's the freedom of that's the spiritual liberation. One minute you want to feed that freak spirit. Maybe one minute you want to feed that wild spirit. One minute you want to feed that conservative spirit. One minute you want to feed the spiritual, religious spirit. It's all kinds of energies that you can entertain. It does not mean you're fake. That's what I'm saying. Stop letting people define you. Stop feeling like you got to fit in the box, because now spirituality, this trend is putting people back in the box. Bruh, don't what they say? Play with your man, but don't play with me. Y'all better be woke. Shoot, like, realize what's going on. Be mindful. But as always, you guys, I'm going to end this message with someone who cares, the spiritual activist. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving. I love you guys. Peace out.
Rise and shine your light in opulence, my solution seekers. It's your girl, the spiritual activist, coming to you with another quick word message episode. Okay, so stop being so serious. Lighten up, smile, laugh, do something, and stop telling people that's just how I am. That's how I am. It's not how you are. It's not how you are. It's how you've become. You can get back to who you are. You can get back to that love, to that light, to that joy. Start changing the things in your life that are not fulfilling you. I'm kind of getting over the no longer serving you type thing. Sometimes things get worn out. I mean, it doesn't mean it loses its validity, but I just get annoyed with when people just overuse things and make it trendy and whatever. But I'm deflecting. But the point is, yeah, stop walking around with that stank look on your face and just frowned up and just bitter, resentful. What's good? I mean, you need something? You need to get you a couple. You know what I'm talking about? You need to get it in. What's good? You sexually frustrated? You hate your job? Your kids getting on your nerves? You need a break? You need a day off? You need to drop the kids off at the granny's, or do something? You need to go on a date with your man? Like, ask yourself, why are you walking around like that? Men, women, everybody. I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but I'm saying for the ones, you know who you are. Because I was like that too. Walking around with this. I remember as a kid, I used to hate it. People were like, you too pretty to be having that frown or something. Like, nigga, what they got to do with anything? Bruh, like, just ready to squab up with somebody for It's so funny, just like reminiscing on like how I was. It's like, but yeah, like I see so many people just, you speak to them and they just real dry. And you could just tell they in that dark space. And I still keep going. They don't feel rejected because you get those responses. When you're practicing positivity and you walking in your light, you're gonna get a lot of pushback. You're gonna get a lot of that negative energy. But your job is not to run away from a retreat. I mean, you can establish boundaries, but your light is there. Continue to give them love. Love from a distance. Continue to send them love and light. Say what you say, but don't take it personal and be like, I feel rejected now. I feel embarrassed. Now I'm triggered. Now let me say something smart back to them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like men got a tendency of like, hey, little mom, you look good. And then let me get your number. No, I have a boyfriend. Well, F you then, you ugly at me. And they done gone hard. I'm like, dang. Shoot, can't even reject somebody. This is how people take stuff to heart. This is their ego was wounded. Their sense of self. Oh, they that nigga, whatever. But you done ruined their little pride, and that tells you that's false. That's false. That's false self love. That's false confidence because it's too shaky. It's not stable. Your self confidence, your self worth, your self esteem. These are all defense mechanisms that you're establishing in your mind and not solidifying in your heart. Knowing that you're not all of the worldly things, that doesn't give you worth. You're worthy just as, no matter how you look, how you act, like you're worthy being. But yeah, keep reminding yourself that you're blessed every day, even in the struggles. And I know this could sound like hard to hear for people who are really going through it at the moment, because I know when I'm going through my moments, it is hard. And I'm not taking away the reality, but embrace it as, okay, this is a hard moment right now. I'm going through it right now. I feel pissed. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. Why does this? But surrendering to the fact that you're not gonna know why, and asking God to show you the way and help you understand it, and give you ease and grace. Surrender to the idea of not knowing, because it's not you that wants to know. Your soul and your heart already knows. It's your ego, it's your mind trying to wrap its head around what's going on in your life, what's happening as you continue to grow and evolve and change. It wants to know, "Oh, why? What's going on?" Because you know why? The ego's lifetime is temporary. It's going to die off, and this false sense of self is going to die off once you realize who you truly are, and your soul is eternal. Your ego has to fight and constantly readapt and re-evolve and try to keep up, to try to not, how can I say, get lost in the sauce. But allow it to get lost in the sauce unless you create an ego that gasses you up in a positive way, in an authentic way, not a false way, not a defense mechanism way, not a coping way. But yeah, assess your life and look at the things, branch it out. Emotion, I mean, my career, my relationships, my friendships, my family, my whatever. And delve into each one little by little. Take your time, and figure out what is it that you feel like you need to change. And don't always just, it's them. No, this is coming from a place of, what do I need to do to cultivate change in my life? Centering within yourself, going in, doing the inner work that needs to be addressed. The self accountability. But yeah, so that's all. Don't be so serious. Don't take life so serious. It's just all part of the journey. Smile, laugh, love yourself. As always, someone who cares, a spiritual activist. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving them. Keep God first. I love you guys. Peace out.